Well, good evening, Julian. How are things in Paris today?
Good morning, Max. Things are great here in Paris. I must say I'm waiting for your story. I've been waiting for a while, and you gave me quite a teaser already. So if you don't mind, hop on the couch right away because I want to hear it.
And it's interesting because this one was traumatic in a different way. This was, I feel guilty, traumatic. It's about a long-term relationship where the company didn't get to cash in.
Okay.
I have a swimming pool, and we've had it for 20 years. And we go to a nearby pool, or I go to a nearby pool store, and I get the chemicals, and the guy has become my buddy. Every
Okay.
other week or so I'm there, and we chat about pools and all of that. So it's could not be a better customer service experience, enjoyed over 10 plus years.
Okay.
And they made some money. I buy chemicals, I buy sweeps and whatever. So they're making some money off me, but not a ton. And my feeling is that where this company really makes their money is what happened to me earlier this year. I realized there's a crack in the pool, and rust started showing through from the crack, which means the metal rebar inside is getting wet and rusting, and now you have to resurface the pool. Otherwise, it's going to fall apart eventually. So now I'm talking to the people in that company that do the repair work and go on site. And it's just kind of the opposite experience. And it's probably as much me as anything. It just, the guy and I don't click. He comes out, he talks about it. Everything I say, he's just kind of, I feel like he's being argumentative about it. And,
I must say, working with you for 3 years, I've never seen a single person who could not go along with you. So the problem was coming from him. I guarantee that.
All right, fine. I'll take that. I'm on the couch, and I need that to feel better about myself. So it just, this guy and I, it just was always kind of a oil and water. I don't know if that's a French metaphor, but we didn't mix well. I'd had him come out for some other estimates that we had him do, but this one I wasn't very happy. So I actually chopped around a little bit and found somebody else to do the plaster work. And in the process of doing that, one of the things you have to do when it's refinished, there's this intense period of time where you need to sweep it every day. And, the chemicals, there's a real art in the startup of the chemicals and stuff. So that guy is affiliated with another guy who I've done some other things with and liked. He's going to do the jump start on the pool. And while we're at it, it's like, well, why don't you just start servicing the pool? And it's not that expensive. And okay, so we're going to do that. So now what's happened is, through a guy who I just think is lovely and I've never had an issue with, and I've just had constant good customer experiences, because this other part of the business didn't work out, they're going to lose almost all of my business. And I will sing their praises up one side, down the other. I will go there anytime I need anything. I will refer friends. But I'm going to do a service, so I'm not going to even be going in buying the chemicals anymore. And I feel horrible because it's not that guy's fault at all, but just, the other guy opened a door, and I ended up going through it because it was the right thing to do.
And why was this other guys here? That's what I'm missing. Why was there a change? What made it happen?
I had to do the resurfacing.
And that's a different.
And now that was where, instead of using those guys, I used someone else. And then when you do the resurfacing, there's so much work up front to get it going. The guy who does that also comes every week and just does the regular servicing on your pool. So I've taken that option instead of working with these guys on the other.
Okay. And in the end, you are satisfied with the service, but you feel somehow guilty that this guy who has been treating you so well for years is somehow losing your business while he hasn't done anything wrong.
Right. And to the contrary, he's done everything right.
And he's not offering a similar service. Meaning,
Yeah, they do. But again, it's through the guy that.
Okay.
The situation is there's a good cop there and a bad cop, and I don't like the bad cop enough that it costs the business, even though I love the good cop.
And the bad cop, is it the same company or is it another supplier that works for this one?
Same company.
All right. Well, then you go back to being customer centric. It's not enough to have one person who is fantastic. Is the whole company customer centric or not? And that's really major, because you sometimes feel the same when you work in any industry. You have a first call with a sales rep who's fantastic and promising the world, and then you have the second call with the guy for billing, and now nothing is aligned with what was promised, because that second person doesn't care, or maybe the first one lied in some way, or whatever that is. But you need alignment, you need consistency, you need customer-centric people, and I don't think you should feel guilty about it. I mean, as a customer, you've picked what made most sense to you, right? And apparently that other company is offering fair price, good service, and you don't have to go through the guy you don't want to deal with. So I'm not sure you did anything wrong. I think what you should do as a long-term customer, but I'm sure you've done that. What you should do as a long-term customer who feels bad about it is probably contact that guy that you go along with very well to tell him why he's lost your business, because you might not be the only customer going elsewhere because he has a partner or an employee that doesn't care enough about people. And it usually, I know you like to fill voice of customer surveys to tell people why they do wrong and what they can do better. Have you done that? Have you talked to him about it?
No, and you're making me now I feel guilty all over again.
That was not the point.
Yeah, that probably would be a good thing to do. And the thing is, I think the guy who I'm so comfortable with is an employee. The guy I struggle with, I think, is one of the owners of the business. So it's not like that feedback's going to go anywhere. So that's my rationalization. But you're right. I probably should say, hey, this has happened.
Maybe this guy that you like is going to find a better job in a company that cares more about customers and people.
Maybe, yeah.
All right. I mean, that the thing is, it's very difficult for companies to understand, to show sufficient empathy to understand what their customers go through. Put it that way, you can read as many charts and data boards and information services as you want. You will never get the full picture of what your customers actually experience. That's why, for the lack of a better system, voice of customer is still incredibly important, because your customers, your good customers, and your unsatisfied or dissatisfied customers' feedback is essential for you to understand what they go through.
And it's really difficult to build the right survey, because if they had surveyed me on how was your in-store experience, 10 stars, absolute net promoter, etc., they'd never see it coming. And I've had that experience a lot with contact centers, where I think we did one of these sessions where they were asking me, how was your experience with the agent? Was the agent good? The agent was great, but the agent was not empowered to do what I wanted, and I thought what I wanted was fair. So it's, yeah, and, you get what you measure, and this would have been a really hard, subtle thing to measure.
That is a very difficult exercise. Voice of customer. Building a survey sounds easy. It's incredibly difficult. Yeah. But the good thing is, this sounds like a proximity kind of store where you have a personal relationship. So, a conversation can go a long way. And if they don't do anything with that information, well, their loss. But at the very least, you provided them with what they need to make a change.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. I need to run my big boy pants and go do that, even though that's kind of a hard conversation to have.
Not that it's it's not your job as a customer to do it. But since you have that good relationship, it's probably the moral thing to do, to let them know how they fucked it up and what they can do next time to make sure it does not happen. Because the problem is this kind of stuff tend to happen over and over again until they figure out what goes wrong.
Yeah. That's
so
fair.
Now I know that by the end of this session, you don't feel any better. You probably feel worse than before. I'm terribly sorry about this. How can I make it up to you?
Well, I don't think you need to. I think this is part of the therapy process, and the answer will be, I've got to come back with a smile and a report of when I actually talk to this guy, that, I have to do my growing up. So that's, you're doing the hard work of the therapist right there. Now I'm going to do the hard work of the patient.
Perfect. Then I'll see you with a big smile again next week.
All right. Great. Thanks, Julian. Take care.
Perfect.